Hi, this is Taylor Garrison, and I'm going to be doing proof number 5. We are given an isosceles trapezoid VRST. This isosceles trapezoid is bisected by line segment VS and line segment RT. We are given that VRST is an isosceles trapezoid with legs line segment VR and line segment TS. We are trying to prove that triangle ARS is isosceles. Based on the properties of a trapezoid, we know that line segment VR is congruent to line segment TS because the opposite sides are congruent to one another. We also know that angle V is congruent to angle T because the top angles of an isosceles trapezoid are always congruent. We also know that angle R and angle S are congruent because the base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are always congruent. Now I'm going to mark the given information. So here we can see that we have angle V is congruent to angle T because the top angles of a trapezoid are congruent, and we have angle R and angle S are congruent because the base angles are always congruent. And we also have line segment VR is congruent to line segment TS because the side angles of a trapezoid are always congruent. Now I'm going to redraw the diagram out so it'll be easier to see. We know that angle V is congruent with angle T. We know that angle R is congruent to angle S. And we know that line segment VR is congruent to line segment TS. So now we can see that triangle TRS is congruent to triangle VRS from the congruence conjecture angle, side, angle. As we see here, we have an angle, we have a side, we have an angle. We also have an angle, we have a side, and we have an angle. From this, we can figure out that triangle ARS is an isosceles triangle by CPCTC, or angle, from the angle, side, angle congruence conjecture. And now we can see that it's an isosceles triangle by the congruent base angles. So you can see here, congruent base angles. So we can now prove that triangle ARS is an isosceles. So triangle ARS is isosceles.